What it do, what it do, what it do. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. You know what to do. Hit that notification, hit the bell icon, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. All three helps my channel grow. All three helps my channel get more viewers, more subscribers. That's what it's all about. Like, subscribe, share, comment to the YouTube channel, support the channel. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my future subscribers. You see the title, The War in Hip Hop. Julio Foolio, Yungeen Ace. You know how we do. We break it down, we repackage it up, we ship it out accordingly. Let's get to it. Enough said. Roll the footage.
Many people have observed how Foolio's death was similar to the near death of Ace a while ago. So in this video, we're going to do something interesting. From the chilling prayers for each other's death in their diss tracks, to the grim celebrations of their rivals, fallen friends, and family, the feud between drill rappers Foolio and Yungeen Ace shows that they share striking similarities that transcend their lethal conflict. We'll be dissecting those similarities in this video. Let's go, gang. Foolio versus Yungeen Ace's traumatic family life. The rivalry and feud between rappers Julio Foolio and Yungeen Ace escalated dramatically over the years, turning the streets of Jacksonville into a battleground. However, a deep dive into their lives shows that the rappers were more similar than they were different from one another, and in another lifetime, they could have been friends. For Foolio, the rapper spent his early childhood in the Hilltop Village apartments on the north side of Jacksonville, Florida. This area is notorious for its high crime rates and rampant violence. For many, it's a place to avoid, but for Foolio, it was home. The neighborhood was a harsh environment where danger lurked around every corner. Killings, shootings, prostitution, and drug activities were everyday occurrences. Growing up in such a volatile environment had a profound impact on young Foolio. As a child, he didn't fully grasp the severity of his surroundings. To him, it was just the norm. The sounds of gunshots and police sirens were as common as the chirping of birds in other neighborhoods. The constant presence of crime and violence shaped his worldview from a very young age. Nonetheless, the violence that occurred in the Hilltop Village apartments didn't feel touchable for Foolio until a turning point in Foolio's early life came when he was just 11 years old. Foolio was hanging out with one of his close friends when a sudden violent altercation erupted nearby. In the blink of an eye, the situation escalated and gunshots rang out. Foolio's friend's mother was caught in the crossfire. She was shot right in front of them. The scene was chaotic and surreal. Foolio watched in horror as his friend's mother collapsed, bleeding from her wound. The raw fear and helplessness he felt in that moment were overwhelming. Seeing his friend break down in tears, Foolio was struck by the brutal reality of the violence that surrounded him. Up until that point, death and injury had been strange concepts, things that happened to other people. But now, it was real and right in front of him. Just 2 years later, tragedy hit closer to home when Foolio found himself mourning his father, Rick the Ruler. Rick the Ruler was not just a father, but a legend in the streets. Known for his fierce demeanor and unyielding control, he ruled his section of the North Side with an iron fist. But for young Foolio, Rick was simply dad, a man who provided, protected, and taught him the harsh realities of life. In 2011, a fateful altercation changed everything. Rick the Ruler got into a fight, overpowering his opponent, but the beaten man couldn't accept his defeat. He left, only to return with a gun, and in a moment of cold-blooded revenge, he shot Rick. Foolio was just 13 years old when his father was taken from him. The loss was a devastating blow, not just for Foolio, but for his entire family. They had already lost his grandmother a year or two before, and now this. The immediate psychological impact was profound. Foolio's sense of security was shattered, replaced by a stark awareness of his own vulnerability. As Foolio came to grasp the turbulent waters of adolescence, the streets continued to cast a long shadow over his life. In 9th grade, another devastating blow struck. Foolio lost his first close friend, Aaron, in a senseless act of violence. Aaron was in the old neighborhood they used to be in, called Clyde. It was a typical day, but the streets had other plans. The news of Aaron's death spread like wildfire through the school, leaving Foolio and his friends in shock and disbelief. The confirmation of Aaron's death sent shockwaves through the school. Foolio and his friends couldn't contain their grief and anger. They started to riot, their emotions spilling over in a desperate attempt to cope with the loss. The loss of Aaron was a turning point for Foolio. It was a harsh reminder of the brutal realities of the streets, a reality that was becoming all too familiar. The grief and anger pushed Foolio further into the streets, a place where he sought both solace and revenge. After losing his father, Foolio was at risk of losing his mother to the streets as well. Foolio's involvement in rap feuds made him a target, and the repercussions of this dangerous lifestyle soon spilled over into his family's life. The tragic incident that would forever alter their lives occurred when Sandrika's was shot 8 times. The attack, a brutal manifestation of the violence that surrounded Foolio's world, left her physically and emotionally scarred. Foolio would rap about the attack in his songs, but his reality wasn't completely different from his rival Yungeen Ace, who lived on the opposite side of the city. Like Foolio, Yungeen Ace's life was a constant struggle from a young age. His family faced financial hardships, and the neighborhood they lived in was far from safe. Despite these challenges, Ace's mother, Charlene Bullard, did her best to provide for her children and keep them out of harm's way, instilling in Ace the values of hard work and perseverance. Ace's early years were marked by a sense of instability. The family moved frequently, trying to escape the violence that plagued their neighborhood. However, no matter where they went, trouble seemed to follow. The streets of Jacksonville were unforgiving, and Ace quickly learned to navigate the dangers that lurked around every corner. One night, when Ace was just a child, his life took a terrifying turn. It was a quiet evening, and the family was at home, trying to unwind after a long day. Suddenly, the sound of gunfire shattered the silence. Bullets tore through the walls and windows, sending the family into a state of panic. Ace's mother screamed for her children to get down, and they huddled together, praying for the shooting to stop. The attack was relentless, and the house was riddled with bullet holes. The family was fortunate to escape without physical injuries, but the emotional scars were deep. For Ace, the experience was a harsh introduction to the violence that would become a recurring theme in his life. The fear and helplessness he felt that night left an indelible mark on him, shaping his outlook on life and the world around him. From the very beginning, Ace's life was marked by a series of hardships that would shape his future and fuel his music career. One of the most significant and impactful events of his early life was his father's incarceration, which cast a long shadow over his childhood. Ace's father was sentenced to 15 years in prison, a fact that left a significant void in his life. His father's imprisonment meant that Ace missed out on many of the typical father-son experiences that most children take for granted. His father's absence was a constant reminder of life's harsh realities, forcing Ace to grow up much faster than his peers. The impact of his father's absence was profound. Ace's father was imprisoned in Minnesota, far from where Ace and his family lived. This geographical distance made it nearly impossible for them to maintain any semblance of a normal relationship. Ace recalls seeing his father only once when he was 12 years old. This brief encounter was the only time he saw his father during his formative years, a period when a child's need for parental guidance and support is at its peak. Growing up without his father meant that Ace missed many important milestones. His first words, first steps, first day of school, and even his graduation were all events that his father missed. These moments, typically celebrated and cherished by families, were tinged with a sense of loss and longing for Ace. The absence of his father during these crucial years left a void that was difficult to fill. The absence of his father was somewhat mitigated by the presence of his uncle, who stepped in to fill the paternal role. His uncle became a father figure to Ace, providing the guidance and support that his father could not. However, this stability was short-lived. When Ace was 14, his uncle passed away, a loss that devastated him. His uncle's death marked the first significant loss in Ace's life, and it left a lasting impact. The holidays, birthdays, and other celebrations lost their meaning after his uncle's death. The sense of family and togetherness his uncle had provided was gone, leaving Ace to navigate his teenage years without a paternal figure. Ace's family moved to Jacksonville, Florida when he was around 4 or 5. The move was partly due to his uncle's involvement in various activities in Chicago, which necessitated a fresh start in a new city. In Jacksonville, Ace lived with his mother and 10 brothers, all male. Growing up in such a large family was challenging, especially for his mother, who had to raise 11 boys on her own. Still, a much tougher future awaited the family. And on June 5th, 2018, tragedy struck the family once again. Ace's brother, Trayvon Bullard, was his closest confidant and biggest supporter. The two shared dreams of escaping the violence that surrounded them and making a better life through their music. In 2018, Ace's career was on the brink of taking off. He had released several tracks that garnered significant attention, and his fan base was growing rapidly. However, just as things were looking up, tragedy struck in the most brutal way imaginable. Ace, Trayvon, and 2 friends, Royale Devon Smith Jr. and while leaving a restaurant in Jacksonville. The attack was sudden and vicious. As the group walked to their car, a hail of bullets erupted, striking all 4 men. Ace was critically injured, but his brother and 2 friends were not as fortunate. Trayvon, Royale, and Jacoby were pronounced dead at the scene. The loss of his brother and close friends was a devastating blow to Ace, who was left grappling with immense grief and survivor's guilt. Tragedy became Foolio and Yungeen Ace's ultimate motivator, and music became the medium through which they communicated their heartache. However, the pain and the violence that surrounded their lives also led them into forming their own gangs. Foolio versus Yungeen Ace gang affiliations, these two Jacksonville rappers are not just musical adversaries. Their feud is deeply rooted in gang affiliations that have led to real-life violence and tragedy. Foolio, associated with KTA Kill Them All, and Yungeen Ace, linked to ATK, Ace's top killers, have been embroiled in a bitter conflict that has captured national attention. Like Foolio, Ace's upbringing in the rough neighborhoods of Jacksonville played a significant role in shaping his identity and his music. Ace's top killers, or ATK, emerged in the early 2010s as a response to the escalating violence and territorial disputes in Jacksonville. Composed of young men from the same community, ATK quickly gained a reputation for its aggressive stance and willingness to retaliate against its rivals, particularly KTA. The formation of ATK was driven by a need for protection and a desire to assert dominance in a city where gang affiliations often dictate one's survival. Yungeen Ace's involvement with ATK began during his teenage years. Growing up in a single-parent household with his father serving a 15-year prison sentence, Ace lacked a stable father figure and turned to the streets for guidance and support. The bond he formed with his ATK brothers provided him with a sense of belonging and purpose, but it also exposed him to the harsh realities of gang life. The influence of ATK on Yungeen Ace's music is evident in his emotionally charged lyrics and raw storytelling. His tracks often delve into themes of pain, loss, and the struggle for survival, reflecting his personal experiences and the violence that surrounds him. Songs like Pain and Step Harder offer a glimpse into Ace's world, where the line between life and death is razor thin. The feud between Foolio's Kill Them All and Yungeen Ace's Top Killers is one of the most intense and violent rivalries in recent memory. This deadly conflict has been marked by a series of brutal events and turning points that have fueled the animosity between the two factions. The origins of this feud can be traced back to the early 2010s, but it was the events of the late 2010s and early 2020s that really escalated the violence. One of the earliest and most significant turning points in this feud occurred in June 2018. Yungeen Ace and his friends were ambushed in a drive-by shooting that left 3 of his closest companions dead. The attack took place on a quiet night, and the aftermath was devastating. Ace himself was critically injured but managed to survive. This incident not only intensified the feud between Ace's top killers and Kill Them All, but also brought national attention to the violent gang culture in Jacksonville. The drive-by shooting was widely believed to be the work of Kill Them All, and it set off a chain reaction of retaliatory violence. Foolio, known for his provocative social media presence, wasted no time in taunting Yungeen Ace after the shooting. He posted several videos mocking Ace and his fallen friends, which only fueled the fire. The back and forth between the two rappers escalated, with each side releasing diss tracks and making threats online. In the wake of the 2018 shooting, both Foolio and Yungeen Ace channeled their anger and grief into their music. Foolio released tracks like KTA and When I See You, filled with venomous lyrics aimed at Ace and his crew. Yungeen Ace responded with songs like Wanted and Step Harder, expressing his desire for revenge. Their music became a weapon, a means of both mourning their losses and exacting retribution. The violence reached new heights in 2020 when Foolio's cousin, Zion Brown, was gunned down in a brutal attack. The murder was widely believed to be a retaliation for the 2018 shooting that targeted Yungeen Ace. This event only deepened the animosity between the two factions, with each side determined to outdo the other in a deadly game of one-upmanship. The cycle of revenge seemed never-ending. Each act of violence was met with an equally brutal response, creating a dangerous and volatile environment in Jacksonville. Innocent bystanders were often caught in the crossfire, and the constant threat of violence created an atmosphere of fear and tension in the community. One of the most shocking incidents in this ongoing war occurred in March 2021. Foolio was the target of a drive-by shooting that left him injured. The attack took place in broad daylight, and the brazen nature of the assault sent shockwaves through the city. Foolio survived the attack, but the incident further escalated the feud between Kill Them All and Ace's top killers. In response to the attack, Foolio released a series of diss tracks aimed at Yungeen Ace and his crew. Songs like Handle Business and List of Dead Ops are filled with references to the shooting and his determination to seek revenge. Yungeen Ace, never one to back down, responded with tracks like Ops and Freestyle, further fueling the feud. The rivalry between Foolio and Yungeen Ace has also played out on social media, where both rappers frequently taunt each other and make threats. Their online presence has only served to escalate the tension, with each side trying to outdo the other in a dangerous game of brinkmanship. The constant back and forth has kept their fans on edge, with many fearing that the violence will only continue to escalate. Law enforcement in Jacksonville has struggled to contain the violence between these two factions. Despite numerous arrests and ongoing investigations, the cycle of violence continues. Both Foolio and Yungeen Ace have had multiple run-ins with the law, but their influence on the streets remains strong. The violence between KTA and ATK has not been limited to diss tracks. There have been numerous shootings and murders linked to the feud, with both sides suffering significant losses. One of the most high-profile killings in the gang's feud feud was the murder of 16-year-old Adrian Denard Gaynor Jr., who was killed on February 24, 2020. Adrian, an honor roll student known for his humor and love of music, was returning home from school, unaware of the danger that awaited him. Adrian attended the Grand Park Education Center, a school that he had grown fond of over the years. That day, like many others, he followed his usual routine. He made a quick stop at a local store to pick up a few items before heading back to the Hilltop Village apartments where he lived with his family. The shooting occurred just before 3 p.m. in broad daylight, leaving the community in shock and disbelief. The sheriff's office quickly responded to the scene, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. Adrian had succumbed to his injuries, becoming the 32nd homicide victim in Jacksonville that year. The news of his death spread rapidly, leaving his family and friends devastated. Adrian's mother, Elizabeth Gaynor, was one of the first to arrive at the scene. Her heart broke as she saw her son's lifeless body lying on the ground. Overwhelmed with grief and anger, she vowed to seek justice for her beloved son. "This hurts for real," she later told a crowd at a candlelight vigil. "I'm going to rock the hell out of Duval County for my baby. Whoever had anything to do with this shooting, you hurt the wrong baby. He was loved and he loved us. He had a mother and a father, grandparents, aunts. He was no thug and he is no gangster." The police in Jacksonville have been struggling to contain the violence, and they've even formed a special task force to tackle gang-related activities. The authorities have been using social media and music videos as evidence to build cases against the members of KTA and ATK, leading to several high-profile arrests. One such arrest was that of Hakeem Robinson, also known as Xu, a close associate of Yungeen Ace. Xu was charged with second-degree murder in connection with the killing of Charles Quentin McCormick Jr., also known as Lil Buck. The police allege that Xu and his father were involved in the shooting, and they've used social media posts and music videos as part of their evidence. The use of social media and music videos as evidence has become a double-edged sword for these young rappers. On one hand, it provides them with a platform to express their pain and gain fame, but on the other hand, it also incriminates them and provides law enforcement with the tools they need to build cases against them. The feud between Foolio and Yungeen Ace is a tragic example of how deeply personal and violent rivalries can become in the rap game. Murder attempts on Foolio versus Yungeen Ace. The feud between Foolio and Yungeen Ace didn't result in just rap disses and violent attacks on their gang members alone, but it also resulted in shots taken at the top men as well. 2018, a chilling event shook the hip-hop world, leaving many in disbelief. While out celebrating a friend's birthday, Yungeen Ace and his closest While out celebrating a friend's birthday, Yungeen Ace and his closest companions, his brother Trayvon Bullard, Jacoby Groover, and Royale Devon Smith Jr., were ambushed. They were all young, full of life, and looking forward to a night of fun and laughter. Little did they know, their evening would take a tragic turn that would leave an indelible mark on their lives and the hip-hop community. The group was driving in a silver Chevrolet Cruze along Town Center Parkway, a bustling area known for its shops and restaurants. It was just before 11 p.m. when their vehicle was suddenly ambushed. Another car pulled up alongside them, and without warning, gunfire erupted. The sound of bullets shattered the night, creating a scene of chaos and terror. The attackers showed no mercy, spraying the car with bullets in a brutal and senseless act of violence. In the blink of an eye, the joyous celebration turned into a scene of carnage. Trayvon Bullard, Jacoby Groover, and Royale Devon Smith Jr., all under 20 years old, were killed in the attack. The loss of these young lives was a devastating blow to their families and friends. Yungeen Ace, despite being shot 8 times, miraculously survived the onslaught. His survival was nothing short of a miracle, but it came with a heavy burden of physical and emotional scars. The aftermath of the shooting was a whirlwind of emotions and challenges for Yungeen Ace. He was rushed to the hospital in critical condition, fighting for his life. The road to recovery was long and arduous, filled with surgeries, physical therapy, and the constant struggle to heal from the trauma. The physical pain was immense, but the emotional toll was even greater. Ace was left grappling with survivor's guilt, a heavy burden that weighed on his mind and heart. While there was no concrete evidence leading back to Foolio or KTA, Ace suspected the group was behind the shooting, especially after Foolio released a song mocking Ace. Nonetheless, 3 years later, Foolio would have his own brush with death. On the night of November 7th, 2021, Foolio was leaving a recording studio in Jacksonville when his life took a dramatic turn. A group of unidentified gunmen ambushed him, firing an astonishing 100 shots in his direction. The attack was a shocking and brutal reminder of the dangers that come with fame in the rap industry. Miraculously, Foolio was only grazed in the leg by a single single bullet. His quick thinking and composure in the face of such a terrifying ordeal were nothing short of remarkable. Foolio's immediate reaction was to share his experience with his followers on Instagram, providing a real-time account of the event and showcasing his resilience and defiance. He took to Instagram to share his ordeal with his followers, providing a raw and unfiltered account of the attack, showcasing the unloaded gun he had used in a desperate attempt to defend himself. "I emptied my whole clip on my daddy. Stop playing with me. And I ain't get hit. I was grazed in the leg. Stop playing." Foolio's posts were filled with a sense of disbelief and bravado. In a follow-up story, he wrote, "On trade, I got right in slides, emptied my whole clip, you boys goofies. I'm not dead, so stop faking for the internet." He added, "Y'all missed a whole 100 shots literally. That was voodoo. That was magic." His words hinted at a belief that some supernatural force had protected him from the hail of bullets. Sadly, Foolio would not be so lucky the next time his ops came for him. On Saturday, June 23, 2024, rapper Foolio was in high spirits as he celebrated his 26th birthday. The festivities began with a pool party, which he eagerly shared with his 1 million Instagram followers. Foolio posted an invitation, encouraging his fans to message him directly for the address. The party was lively, filled with friends and fans who came to celebrate the rapper's special day. Throughout the evening, Foolio documented the celebration on his social media, posting videos and photos that captured the joyous atmosphere. In one of his posts, he expressed his excitement, calling it the best birthday ever. The night seemed to be going perfectly until an unexpected turn of events occurred. As the party continued, police arrived at the Airbnb where the celebration occurred. Foolio later posted that the authorities had shut us down and kicked us out, forcing him and his guests to find a new location. Determined to keep the party going, Foolio and his entourage relocated to a nearby Holiday Inn hotel. In the early hours of Sunday morning, Foolio was sitting inside a vehicle in the hotel's car park when tragedy struck. According to his lawyer, Louis Fusco, Foolio was ambushed and shot while inside the vehicle. Another nearby vehicle was also hit during the attack. The sudden and violent nature of the incident left everyone in shock. 3 other individuals were injured in the shooting and were quickly taken to the hospital, where they were reported to be in stable condition. However, Foolio lost his life on the spot. But just days after Foolio's death, something bizarre happened. On June 29th, Foolio's Instagram account, which had been silent since the announcement of his death, suddenly came to life. A comment appeared on Yungeen Ace's post about his new song, Game Over. The comment was simple yet provocative, a trash can emoji, suggesting that the song was garbage. Yungeen Ace, Foolio's longtime rival, responded in a way that left everyone scratching their heads. "You still with me, dude? I love you 4VA," he wrote. This response was not just bizarre, it was chilling. How could Foolio be commenting from beyond the grave? The Instagram activity didn't stop there. On June 29th, the same account posted a blue hat emoji, signifying cap, and a popcorn emoji, potentially indicating corny, in response to Yungeen Ace's Game Over video. Was Foolio's account hacked, or was there something more sinister at play? Fans were divided. Some believed Foolio's account was hacked, while others thought it was a twisted form of trolling. However, a small group of conspiracy theorists had a different idea. They believed Foolio faked his death to escape the violent cycle of retaliation and to continue his career from the shadows. However, many agreed that the Instagram activity was likely the work of a hacker. However, they also acknowledged that the timing and nature of the comments were suspicious. Could it be that Foolio orchestrated this from the start? Nonetheless, Foolio's mother, devastated by the loss of her son, issued a heartfelt statement about his death. She announced an upcoming documentary to honor his life and legacy. The announcement of a documentary about his life put all doubts to bed that Foolio might still be alive. Still, the police have guaranteed arrests will be made for Foolio's murder, but the case remains unsolved. The investigation has been complicated by the ongoing feud between Foolio's crew, KTA, and Yungeen Ace's crew, ATK. The streets of Jacksonville have been a battleground for years, with both sides suffering devastating losses, and Foolio's death only looks to continue the violence. For more content like this, click on the videos showing on your screen now.
Fail. No cap, man. You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We deep as hell. We deep as hell. 20 deep. Lit everywhere we go.
He posts a fly to the club with the address, as if he was attempting to break the mark for the most spots dropped in a single weekend. At 4:40 a.m., shooting broke out in the parking lot of a Holiday Inn. The hotel was approximately 8 minutes away from the club and located across the street from the University of South Florida. 2 automobiles would be struck, one with many gunshot holes in its windshield. They appeared to be driving inside the hotel seeking for a parking spot when they were attacked. Clearly, whomever was with Foolio didn't know the city well. As everyone from Tampa knows, the area around USF has always been hazardous, and it's directly down the street from the ghetto, but they were probably intoxicated and chose a cheap motel near their prior spot. 4 individuals were shot, and Foolio's girlfriend later said on Twitter, "Why all took my boyfriend from me? I despise you all, and I won't be the only one sobbing in 2020. Foolio was shot in Houston, Texas, where spinners Benz Young and Ace Whopper, together with the Chopper and Quick Money Goon, released one of the most viral disc tunes in history, Who I Smoke. The lyrics of the song appear to allude to the Houston shooting, with the line "I to the rocket, when I travel on pistol packing in Houston, I was lurking on this webpage."
Bitch nigga shot me, but they didn't kill me. I'm Kendrick. You fucking stupid.
By shootout a year later in 20121, when he'd go live again, ridiculing the shooters for missing 100 shots.
Hey, stop saying on the police post that, listen, I turn it up. This. Listen, on trading my gun and register, I shot back in self-defense. Y'all dumb. I shot back in self-defense. You don't think if I did something illegal, I would be in jail? The police put me in the back of the car, type of shit. Nigga did miss a whole 100 shots, though. You know they sick right now. Whoever did it, they sick. One nigga. Nigga had 2 choppers, 1 me. I'm blowing back. Trade.
In 2023, Theo will be ambushed early in the morning while driving himself to the hospital after his car was lighted up, and a viral image of the entire left in his foot after being shot by a rifle surfaced on social media. Bones would be blasted out, and Foolio would have an interview with S.E. Cheese about what occurred with the pins in his foot. There was no secret. People wanted him dead, and it's difficult to feel pity for him given how many people he killed over his career. The friends he lost along the road were unapologetic, and he realized he'd crossed lines he couldn't undo, and it only took one night of drinking for him to be foolish enough to kill himself. At this time, no arrests have been made. Foolio ops have already celebrated his death, with many on social media claiming it was karma because of the enthusiasm he exuded. With Tampa merely a 3-hour trip from Jacksonville, it's not shocking to learn. Someone decided to take the journey after he repeatedly posted his whereabouts. But do you love or despise him? Theo will be remembered as a Jacksonville drill legend who died in the same style that he lived. The tragic death of Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio has sent shockwaves through the music community and beyond. Foolio, whose real name was Charles Jones, was shot and killed early on the morning of June 23, 2024. Police responded to a 911 call at around 4:40 a.m., reporting gunfire in a parking lot at McKinley and Fowler. Upon arrival, they found 2 cars that had been shot at, with 4 victims in total. 3 were transported to hospitals, while Foolio was pronounced dead at the scene. This incident marks a grim milestone in the ongoing cycle of violence that has plagued the Jacksonville rap scene. Julio Foolio gained notoriety for his controversial lyrics and disses, often targeting deceased rivals. His music frequently referenced violent incidents and personal feuds, which resonated with many, but also drew significant criticism. One of the most infamous incidents linked to Foolio was the viral TikTok trend Where's Corbin, which mocked the disappearance and murder of 18-year-old Corbin Johnson. Foolio's remix of the beatbox song featured lyrics that seemingly referenced Johnson's death, contributing to the trend's popularity. The insensitivity of these lyrics and their impact on Johnson's family highlighted the darker side of Foolio's artistic persona. In addition to his provocative music, Foolio was associated with the violent rap group KTA, known for their ongoing feud with rival group ATK. This rivalry has resulted in numerous shootings and deaths, making headlines and fueling the narrative of gang violence in Jacksonville. As the investigation into Julio Foolio's murder continues, his death serves as a stark reminder of the real-life consequences of the violent narratives often glorified in music. While Foolio's talent and impact on the Jacksonville drill scene are undeniable, his life and death also highlight the need for a shift towards more positive and constructive artistic expressions. For those interested in delving deeper into the complexities of Foolio's life and legacy, subscribe to my channel where we will explore his career, the cultural impact of his music, and the broader implications of violence in the rap industry.
Word on the street is that Yungeen has allegedly been pinpointed by the feds as the one who was behind the tragic death of Julio Foolio. In fact, it is being reported that the rapper has since gone into hiding. So, what exactly is going on? Florida rapper Julio Foolio was shot and killed in Tampa on Sunday, just 2 days after celebrating his 26th birthday. According to his lawyer, Foolio, whose real name was Charles Jones, was staying at a Holiday Inn hotel in Tampa after being kicked out of an Airbnb where he was partying when the rapper was reportedly ambushed, attorney Louis Fusco said in a statement. Before his death, Jones had shared a story on Instagram showing him celebrating his 26th birthday with a pool party beside friends and fans at an Airbnb. Been advertised all over social media, allegedly got too rowdy, leading police to shut down the event and forcing Jones to leave, according to Fusco. Mr. Jones had been in Tampa to celebrate his birthday over the weekend, Fusco said. Law enforcement reports indicate that he initially stayed at an Airbnb but was asked to leave due to exceeding occupancy limits. He subsequently relocated to the Holiday Inn, where he was involved in an incident in the hotel parking lot and reportedly ambushed. Police said Jones and the 3 other victims were in their cars in the parking lot when unidentified assailants opened fire. Officials are reviewing surveillance footage from the hotel, with no suspects arrested as of Sunday afternoon. The victim in this morning's shooting is believed to be Charles Jones. Positive identification is pending confirmation from the medical examiner's office, the agency said in a statement. A release said officers observed 2 vehicles that had been shot at in the parking lot of a hotel. 4 people were injured in the shooting, police said, with 1 person pronounced dead. 3 other victims were treated at a local hospital. Even worse, Yungeen released a new song called Do It, in which he explicitly raps about gunning down his rivals. The release of the song came just hours after his real-life rival, Julio Foolio, was shot. Video, which has been posted above, depicts masked men shooting another man in what looks like the parking lot of a motel. The lyrics in the song are also very pointedly about shooting someone. Catch his A and do his A, you know he finished, Yungeen raps on the song. Flip his A and smoke his A, we stand on business. He continues. Ace and Foolio have long been embroiled in a violent feud that escalated in 2017 when Foolio's cousin was shot and killed. An associate of Ace's was charged with the unalivement, and in 2018, Ace was a target in a retaliatory drive-by that left his brother and 2 others dead. Foolio celebrated the shootings with various posts on social media. In March 2021, Ace released the song Who I Smoke, in which he called out the names of associates of Foolio's When I See You, which saw the rapper mocking Ace and the 3 people who were caught in the drive-by. In the official music video, Foolio can be seen in a cemetery, lying on a photo of Ace's brother and his 2 friends. Meanwhile, Foolio's mother, Sandricus Mays, issued a heartfelt statement following the rapper's tragic unalivement over the weekend. On Tuesday, Mays shared her statement on Instagram, mourning her son's death in Tampa, Florida, on June 22nd. The post included numerous clips of Foolio, showcasing his childhood and rise in the rap industry. R.I.P. son, Charles Jones II Foolio, the real-life story documentary coming soon, she captioned. The story that only I can tell because I know the truths from the fakes. I think I'm the only mother that keeps it real, while most others know damn well what was going on with their own sons. This has been going on since 2014 to 2015 inches. Mays continued, some of these same women celebrating your death are the same women who looked up to me, sitting in my building. I was their teacher and they were my students, taking notes at a big grown age. Let's not forget that. The same women who were buying your CDs for their kids, let's not forget that. These same women's sons did the same thing you did, going tit for tat on this drill music, which I never condoned. The untold truth, only I can tell coming soon, she added. So much unreleased coming soon. If you're not tuned into the hip-hop scene, you might not be aware of the sheer talent emerging from Jacksonville. But with talent often comes rivalry. And in this case, it's between ATK and KTA. These aren't just rival rap groups. They represent a deadly feud that has played out in both music and real life. The origins of rap are steeped in battle. 2 artists going head-to-head with lyrics and rhymes. But what was once a lyrical sparring match has turned into something much more sinister. The 1990s saw the infamous East Coast versus West Coast rivalry, which tragically ended with the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the notorious Big Fast Forward to Jacksonville, and we see a similar, if not more deadly, rivalry between ATK and KTA. The star of ATK is Yungeen Ace, a rapper with a gritty style and a controversial past. On the other side was Julio Foolio, the face of KTA, known for his provocative lyrics and bold social media presence. These two rappers were at the heart of this deadly feud, each with a legion of fans and a trail of controversies. Kayanta, better known as Yungeen Ace, was born in Chicago and is one of 12 brothers. This made things difficult for a single mother growing up, which caused him to move around and relocate often before settling in the Jacksonville, Florida area. His dad was serving time in prison, which left him without a father figure as well. He mostly looked up to his uncle as the man in his life, but when his uncle passed away when he was just 14, he took to the streets to let out the pain and anger he now had. While in the streets, he searched for an outlet to tell his story. He found his passion for music and established his crew, ATK. He started dropping music in 2014, but it wasn't until 2018 that things started to take off with songs like No Witness, All In, and Find Myself. Due to the realness of his music, it didn't take long for him to gain traction and build a following online. Foolio came
You see what it is. You see what it is. Make sure you tap in. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Share the live feed. Let everybody know S.L.R Media TV is in the building. Julio Foolio, the war in hip hop. Julio Foolio, Yungeen Ace, you seen it. Most definitely tune in for all news, everything that drops in the case of Julio Foolio. But make sure also let everybody know, make sure you smash that like button. Tell everybody to hit that like button and help S.L.R Media grow this channel to make it one of the top YouTube channels in the game. RIP to Julio Foolio. Like, subscribe, share, comment to my YouTube channel. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe.